What's up? So today we'll be recapping Pretty Little Liars Season 1 recap. So yeah, like I did with Cobra Kai Seasons 1 to 3, and now that I finished Season 4, I'll be recapping that. Wait, watch out for that. Oh, watch out for that after this video. I'll be doing the. So yeah, Pretty Liars is a kind of a subject. Some people hate it, some people like it, some people think it's a bit in between. I enjoyed this show. So anyway, let's start. So let's start off with episode 1. Obviously titled The Pilot, because everything is titled Pilot. Except for the Cobra Kai seasons. No season has ever been titled Pilot. So, even season 1 of Cobra Kai is called Ace Degenerate, not Pilot. So, yeah. Let's get back to Pretty Little Liars. So, Pretty Little Liars is about 4 main characters: Aria Montgomery, Hannah Marin, Emily Fields, Spencer Hastings, and their presumed missing Queen Bee, Allison De Laurentiis. And when Allison goes missing one night, they drift apart. They move on with their lives, and Aria moves to Iceland. Hannah comes from a fat to a skinny it girl type character. Spencer has a secret that has now become, Spencer's just Spencer. And Allison, as I said, is presumed missing. So they all return to Rosewood Aria returns to Rosewood from Europe or Iceland, and she's kind of shocked at everything that, her Queen Bee her best friend, her Queen Bee, her friend is now still missing after a long time, and her friend would have been 15 or 16. So in that bar, Aria meets Ezra Fitz, the guy that you wouldn't want to be into, but obviously Aria isn't him. And she finds out that the guy that she's into is her chemistry teacher, is her English teacher. But instead of moving on, being like, oh, I can't date this guy, Aria continues to date this guy for the rest of the season. Even though it creeps out most fans, because it's just like, this can be blamed on the producer and the developer of the show, Marlene King, who decided to show audiences, teenager audiences, that a relationship between a high schooler and adult were okay. So yeah, so Aria, tries to, so let's talk about Hannah now. So Hannah is, the new it girl. She has her friend Mona, who obviously was a nerd before something happened that caused her to cause this big glow up and become her and Hannah become friends. And I can say that Mona is my least favorite character. I just dislike Mona. I disliked Mona when I originally watched this show, months ago. But upon this rewatch, this makes me dislike. Upon this rewatch for the second time, for the first time I watched it, and now second time watching it, I just dislike Mona. Mona is the worst character. And upon this rewatch, I also dislike Ezra, or Mr. Fitz, because he could be with a woman his own age, but he chooses to be in love with a high schooler who is in high school. So, 2 worst characters that are going on the worst character board, which is not real, it's pretend, but they're going to be on the worst character board. Mona, Ezra. So yeah, Hannah has a boyfriend named Sean, and he's had a crush on her since a long time, and they're finally dating, and yeah, so she sees her friend, Spencer Hastings, and Spencer's like, all, like, her sister Melissa is getting married to this guy named Ren Kingston, who we'll talk about him in the second episode to recap. So yeah, so then we have Emily Field. Her mom is played by Foster star Nia Peebles, and her dad is played by another guy who appeared on the first in the Foster season 5. Her dad is Wayne Fields, and her mom is Pam Fields. But in the book, it's Kathleen Fields. But also in the book, Emily has siblings, but in this show, I guess it couldn't cast any sibling-like characters that they had. Emily being an only child, so. And then we have orange hair in the books, but in this one she has brown hair. Dark hair. So yeah, and she also meets Maya, the person moving in to Allison's next door to them, and Allison used to live next door to Emily, but now it's gonna be Maya, and they have some. I can say they have a relationship. They have a flirtation. Because Maya likes Emily, but at this point, Emily had a boyfriend named Ben. But her and Ben are kind of on the rocks. So when she kisses Maya in episode 3, he officially breaks it off with Maya. And throughout the entire show, we never see Ben again. So yeah, and even Ben tried to sleep with Emily in a locker room, but then tried to forcibly sleep with Emily during in a locker room. But that's when Freak toward Spencer's man. Yeah, people think that he's a freak because they think he was told one night, well, in 2008 or 2009, Allison made it all up that Toby was creeping on them. But no, he later reveals that he wasn't creeping on them. And they also lied to the police saying it was Toby's the reason why his adoptive sister Jenna was in the hospital. Yeah, Jenna likes Toby for some reason, even though they're not related. And she's convinced that Toby's parents, that Toby is the one trying to get with her, not Toby trying to get with him. But obviously Toby doesn't want her, so she slapped him like one time for saying how she'll never get to be with him. And so during Allison's funeral, everyone comes together, and as I said before, General Marshall shows up. Yeah, one point in the episode they call her Jenna Kavanaugh, which I don't know why, but so General Marshall shows up, and that's when Darren Wilden, who arrested Hannah for stealing those sunglasses at the beginning of the episode, shows up. And he's like, hey, I'll be looking into your code. But he just leaves season 1. He just leaves. He just vanishes after a couple of episodes. So in episode 2, it's called the Jenna Thing. It's obviously about what I said before, the Jenna Thing. As Allison was lying to the girls, making them think that. So they pull a stink bomb, or looks like a grenade, into Toby's house, into Toby's backyard, thinking he would be there, getting revenge on him. But no, it was actually his adoptive sister in there, blinding her for the rest of her life. And yeah, and Allison basically, Toby goes to jail for some reason that we never explain why he went to jail, but it's later seen in another season that he does. So he goes to obviously jail. So Jen Marshall, as I said in the last episode, comes to Rosewood and they're like, oh, they were never friends, but obviously, why is she there? So the big Arya's dad is also keeping a secret that he slept with a student of his, and Arya's mom has yet to find out. But when A exposes the relationship, obviously Arya's mom doesn't want to be with Arya's dad anymore, and it causes a few problems with Arya's brother, because he wants all his family to be happy, but he now knows it doesn't. So yeah, so after Maya and Emily kissing in episode 3, they officially become a relationship. But yeah. So yeah. They officially become a relationship, but then shows up, but then Emily's honestly finds out about the relationship, isn't happy about it, and when she finds something, she has Maya shipped up to True North, and that's Maya's arc for this season, that she's gone after like 10 or 13 episodes. So yeah, so then Hannah gets another big development in this season. Hannah gets hit by a car, and A hits her with a car, and she thinks she sees hallucination Allison, and she's like, where'd you go? Why'd you leave? And she's like, I can't tell you that. So yeah. So let's talk about Ren and Spencer. So Ren is, always said, Melissa's fiance, and he kisses Spencer, causing them to call off the engagement. And that's when, but then Melissa decides to, but that's when one of her old boyfriends, who Spencer kissed, Ian Thomas, comes back into the picture, and they obviously go for coffee and get eloped off screen. So now he has to deal with, now Spencer has to deal with her former, the person that she kissed, and that Allison was going to tell Melissa about, but didn't, coming back into the picture and ruining her. So yeah, so there's a whole thing where A sends them a video of Allison talking to Ian, and Spencer thinks that Ian killed Allison, and this starts a big fight with Melissa about Melissa's like, oh, you are crazy, like, and he's like you are crazy, you did kill Allison, and it's just like, oh yeah. So then we meet Garrett. Then in another episode, we meet Paige Mcculler, a lady that Emily gets involved with this season, who basically becomes Emily's current girlfriend after Maya left. After Maya was shipped off to True North, she becomes Emily's rival / love interest, who they get together at the end of the season, and yeah, we also meet. So Sean breaks up with Hannah over like Hannah always driving him to prom and all that stuff, and him always ditching her, so he breaks up with her, and that's when she meets her current boyfriend at the time of me reviewing this, or ex-boyfriend, Caleb Rivers. My best character of the show, boy, because Caleb is amazing, and he's also good looking. Or he's a good looking guy. And yeah, and he's basically Hannah's techno boy toy. He's basically her, if she needs, it's basically like, if you need help, better call Caleb. And yeah, if you need help with any tech, like when Maya gets shipped off to True North, they won't let her see Maya. So Caleb pays her she's forced to pay Caleb like a bunch of money to get her to see Maya. And then we learn so Jenna Marshall hires Caleb to get a key, but when he and Hannah become too serious, he ends off his deal with Jenna Marshall. And when Hannah finds out, she's like, I'm done with you, bro. Get out of my house, because Ashley, Hannah's mom, was already annoyed already done with Caleb. So Caleb decides to give Hannah a letter, but he doesn't give it to her. He gives it to her friend Mona, who then rips it up and then tells Caleb later that Hannah threw it away. What a terrible friend Mona is. No wonder she's on the terrible characters board. She's the worst person of the show. Like, of the season, because if she really cared about Hannah, she wouldn't have done that like a terrible friend would do. She would have given her the letter, let her read it, but no, she decided to be an absolute piece of crap and give piece of crap or piece of poop and rips up the letter because she's like, and then she lies to Lucas and also lies to Hannah too, but she lies to Caleb and Hannah. But who is the best character, who also should go on the best character board, who calls out Mona? Lucas. He calls out Mona saying, oh, you never gave Hannah that letter, did you? And she's like, no. And he's like, oh yeah, like you're such a bad person. And she's like, she's doing it for good. She's still like, she's doing it for good reasons or whatever. And it's like, crap you, Mona. You're the worst. You're worse than Ezra. And Ezra's in a relationship with a high school student. But do you know who also? So yeah, so the girls, so when the girls get arrested, they tell them that Allison was with Ian, not that Spencer was also with Ian, and so them still thinking that Ian had probably had something to do with Allison's death, and yeah. For some reason in the episode where they revealed that Caleb was giving Jenna the stuff, he incorrectly calls her Jenna Kavanaugh, not Jenna Marshall. I don't know if that was because of the writing, where they had Taylor Blackburn say this, or because Marla King is just a terrible producer. I don't know. Nothing against Marla King. I just do not. Yeah. So anyway, back to the story. Back to the story what happens is that also next is that they try to get her, go to a doctor or something that will help, and yeah, so it's revealed that it's really revealed in another scene, I think, that Melissa was at Hilton Head, same with Allison, Ian. Yeah. So they discovered that Toby decides to get together. Toby, so Spencer is a person of interest, she decides to blow off her parents to make out with Toby. They see that, and yeah, so then what happens is that Toby decides. So at the end of the season, we get the season finale. So in the season finale, it is revealed that as I said before, Jenna was trying to get with Toby for some odd reason. And also, she's also with Garrett, the police officer. Another way that the show continued to be a disgusting, creepy relationship show. That they're having two teenagers who should be with people their own age. One's a blind one, and one's a normal, and one's Arya. And they're having them get together with adults. What is up with this show? And it's so up with getting to adults and teenagers. So Arya tries to send a text to Ezra creepily saying about how she wants to look at Ezra's eyes for real. Arya's mom sees this and is like, oh yeah, Arya likes a guy, so she tries to find out who it is. She first thinks it's Caleb, which is really weird, but not really weird because Caleb would be perfect for Arya, but he's also perfect for Hannah, because Arya needs an actual boyfriend her own age, not just Ezra. It shows they know Khan at one point, but she broke it off because they thought he was A, and he also tried to antagonize Ezra. So yeah. So yeah, so then as Melissa and Ian are pregnant, so Ian's not there because he decides he wants to kill Spencer because he decides that, oh, hey, he loves Melissa, so killing her sister would be perfect for them. And he stages that Spencer tried to kill herself, which is also dark. But then a mysterious assailant in a black hoodie gets Ian to hang himself, and then someone steals Ian's body. So yeah, and then when the girls call the police, he's like, is this a joke? Like, no one's in the church. So yeah, so this was season 1. I really enjoyed this one. We just gotta think, Ian is probably dead. He tried to kill Spencer because he loves her sister, but I'm like, why would killing your sister-in-law prove to your wife that you love her? It would just make you sound like a psychopath. And I know that Melissa and Spencer have their problems because of her causing her Ryan's relationship to break up for kissing him, and her accusing Ian of killing Allison. But why would killing Spencer make her happy? It will make her want to end the relationship. I'm glad they don't, because Spencer's one of the main characters. But yeah, so that was pretty much season 1. So far, I only got 2 people on my worst characters list board, and 1 + 2 on my best character board. Caleb and Lucas on the worst character board are Mona and Ezra, because Ezra just decided to keep another girl named Jackie a secret from Arya for all this time. Like, he was married, and then he was engaged to her, and she decided to drop him, so why would... Yeah, so anyway, that's the end. This season is great, but I'm excited to start season 2. But that's after I watch all 25 episodes. So, I'll see you next time when we get to season 2.